Hey, Carlos, Jill, Annie said you got a haircut.
Oh yeah. I cut about 8 inches, 10 inches.
Wow,
It looks
Yeah.
good.
major.
Yeah.
So
New Year.
what prompted that? Just time for a change?
Well, it was part of it was I was thinking that I keep getting these headaches and uh the hair seemed to weigh a lot, like
Well, yeah,
so that
yeah.
was part of it. And then also because I'm going to be starting practicum, they say if you're going to make any changes, do it before you start working with clients, because clients don't like you to suddenly abruptly look different.
They like you to be the same. You're in this category,
That's
stay
right.
the
It's
same.
just like, don't move.
Don't challenge them, right?
That's right.
Um, well, Annie often says that sometimes people get headaches because their hair is on too tight. So it's not just that it's too long; it's on too tight. So you need to stretch it out, a
That's
little
it.
bit. Okay, so some of you were here earlier, some not. Um, but we're going to take off from what we did earlier and talk about the Dan Chen and approach the teaching of this form um, in a different way. Most teachers, including me, and including Master Zhang, including even Master Feng, when they teach a form, will teach it from the outside in. And what I mean by that is they kind of teach it like you learn a dance step, a dance class. All right, so, all right, move your left foot forward, right? Sink your weight, turn your waist, boom, boom, boom. All right. So you're learning by directions for what the physical body should be doing. And I was thinking about that in light of working with Master Zhang for 20 years. Why did he do it that way? Well, I think a number of reasons. He was very limited in his language. He had, particularly at the beginning, he had no English at all. And only very gradually as time went on did he get more English. So basically what he would do is show you the movement and you copied him. So it was from the outside. You only got to the inner movement if you stuck with the class for years. It would probably take 6 or 8 years before you started to get from the outside into the inside. Um, and even then, you only got that if you searched for it. You had to make it work. It's not that Jean was trying to hide it from you or anything. It's just he didn't really have the language to explain things, and he had a very what I think of as a very Taoist approach to teaching, which is take. He had several hundred students. Take 100 students. 90 out of 100 students are only there for this much. That's as far as they're ever going to go. They're not going to go that deep. They're going to go this deep. It doesn't matter what you do, that's what they're going to do. And his approach was to respect that. He wasn't trying to make them go deeper. He was letting them go where they wanted to go. There were of the 10% on top of that, the 10 students above that, 8 of those 10 students, instead of going this deep, would go this deep. And then only 1 or 2 students would go deep enough to truly get what Tai Chi and Qigong are really about. So Zhang let people do what they wanted to do. He wasn't trying to beat them all into the same mold, which I think is very wise. It's not necessarily the American way of doing it. The American way of doing it is we have goals that we have to reach, and I'm going to beat all of you up until we get into those goals. And then you're going to get graded A, B, C, or D, or F. Right? That's not how it works in the martial arts in China. There, it's like, look, if you want this, go for it. But you have to have the motivation to do it. All right. I'm going to take a completely different approach to this, which is to make the assumption that you guys are capable of really learning the insides of this. And I'm going to start with that and learn that. And if you don't like it, then you can go somewhere else and work with a teacher who just works on the outside stuff. So the first move of the form looks like this. All right. Let me do it at a 45-degree angle so you can see this a little bit from that direction. All right. So to learn what's going on when you do a move like that, it's a very simple move. We're going to start from the inside and work toward the outside, instead of starting from the outside and working toward the inside. So what is the most inside thing in Tai Chi and Qigong is this. It's the Dan Qian. So you need to know what the Dan Qian is moving, what it's doing. All right? It's always moving. All right? So this move is all about moving in the forward and backward dimension. Again, I'll do it from the side. Master Zhang used to say, if you can get the first move, truly get it, you will get all of Tai Chi, because it's all in the first move. And he was right. The basic principles are all in the first move. If you can grab onto those, you can carry them forward to every move in this form, every move in every other form. There's a million variations, but the basic idea is there. The Dan Qian in this move, the Dan Qian turns backward, backward, forward, backward. The dantian rolls backward, backward again, forward, backward. If you think of this as the engine, that's what the engine is doing. This is the engine and the transmission, right? It's rolling backward and backward and forward and backward. And when you understand that simple thing, everything grows out of that. If you don't understand that, then everything's just sort of chaotic. Roll the dantian backward and press down. Roll the dantian backward and push out. Roll the dantian forward and pull down. Roll the dantian backward and press down. It's very simple. Every Tai Chi move works in the same way. Now they get very complex, but the basic principles are always the same. Sometimes you're not going forward and backward, you're going side to side. Sometimes you're going level. And most of the time you're doing hybridizations of those movements. But it's always basically the same idea. The center, the engine, the dantian, is moving, and then the outer physical body, your hands and feet and knees and shoulders and elbows, are expressing that movement. Roll backwards and press down. Roll backwards and push out. Roll forward and pull down. Roll backward and press down. Now, there's a lot of other things that you need to know to do that well, but that's, everything is built on that very simple basic idea. If you were trying to do any of those moves, how can I put this? Each of those circles, in this case, right? Here's one circle. Here's a second circle. Here's a third circle. Here's a fourth circle. So there's 4 circles. All circles in Tai Chi are composed of half yin and half yang. Yin is about bringing energy into the body. Yang is about expressing energy out from the body. Bring the energy in, express the energy out. 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 Or you could say yin, yang, yin, yang, yin, yang, yin, yang. Each of those cycles is a martial application. That doesn't mean in real life that you would do them in that sequence. The sequencing is developed just for practice. If so, it isn't that you would do 1, 2, 3, 4 in real life. You would never do something like that. All right? But in practice, you do, because they work together really well. And what are you doing? You're practicing. You're practicing moving the Dan Chen. You're practicing integrating your outer physical movement with your inner Dan Chen movement, the inner Dan Chen movement with your mind. So mind, energy, body, all three together. If, however, you were to express a more martial approach to the form, that's actually a different sequence of movements, but I'll show you what it would look like if you actually did it. All right. They're fast and tough. Why don't we practice that way? Because it will wear you out. You'll get tired. And the whole idea of Tai Chi practice is to gain energy. So we practice softly. You're gaining, when you bring energy into the body, you're gaining energy. Don't waste it. Don't push it out like that. Just relax. You've gained energy now. Don't expend it. You've gained energy. Don't expend it. Nice and soft. You've gained energy. Don't expend it. Jill, does this make sense?
Yes.
So this is treating Tai Chi as if it were a form of Qigong, which it is. Right? The purpose of Qigong is to gain energy and to give the body a little TLC. So Master Feng's approach to Tai Chi was to treat it like Qigong, because most people need to gain energy, need to gain strength and vitality. So when you treat Tai Chi as Qigong, you gain energy, you gain vitality. All right? Okay, any questions about this basic idea? All right, let's go on and talk about this movement a little bit. Yin. Yin. Right? Inside, you're rolling backward. Roll backward. When you roll the Dan Chen, it creates a wave in the body. All right? So I got a bigger Dan Chen here. All right? When I'm rolling the Dan Chen backward, or when I'm rolling the Dan Chen forward, right? Roll it backward, roll it forward, that's going to create a wave through the whole body. Relax your body, relax the joints of the body, and go with the wave. That wave is your chi. All right? So imagine I'm rolling backward, right? My shoulders, my elbows, my wrists, my hips, my knees, my ankles, and my whole spine are soft. All right? They're soft, so they go with the wave very naturally. Let's say my elbows are not soft. Believe it or not, some people have hard elbows. Carlos says his, all right? Watch my elbows. Those are hard elbows. Why do people do that? Well, it's a habit. You get into body habits without even realizing you're doing it. So one of the advantages to doing Tai Chi and Qigong is they are mirrors for you to watch yourself and understand, oh, I've got a physical habit. I have hard elbows, or maybe hard knees, or maybe a hard lower back, or maybe a hard mind. So you watch this, you watch yourself, you mirror yourself, and you start to learn. And here's how you can fix it. If you find something hard, soften it up. Just relax it, all right? So if you have hard elbows, like this, well, just relax. Relax them, shake it out. And now just relax. Roll. That creates a wave. Everything, my ankles, my knees, shoulders, elbows, wrists, fingers, right? Even my fingers, watch. Everything is going with that wave. And I'm not making them do that. I'm just relaxing everything. I'm creating the wave with my Dan Chen. I'm relaxing everything and just letting it go with the wave. I'm not making it go with the wave. I'm letting it go with the wave. There is a principle in Hunyan Tai Chi is a form of Chen style Tai Chi. It's called a frame. So it's a training frame. It's a certain way of training in Chen style Tai Chi. Chen style Tai Chi is the old martial style of Tai Chi. All right. There are uh, eight principles that you need to adhere to really express things in Chen style way. Yeah, honey, hold on just a minute here. Sorry, Annie was trying to get something on my phone there. So what was I going to say? Oh, principle number 7, translated into English, is hard and soft help each other movement. Hard, soft, help each other movement. You could say yin and yang work together to create movement. So I was just saying, right? Relax. Relax. Everything's soft. Relax. Relax. But if you wanted to, you could go from soft to hard very easily. You can't move something that's hard. Try this. Harden up your hips. Harden up your hips. Harden up your shoulder. Harden up your elbows. Okay, now move. Well, you can't. You've turned into a robot and not a very limber robot. So you keep it soft. You keep it soft so you can move. But when you're soft like this, you can become hard very easily. I can go to soft to hard very easily. But if everything's all hard, how can I go from hard to hard? Right? Soft. Right? Soft. Come here. Right? If someone flicks a towel and catches you just right, boom.
Bringing traumatic memories from childhood and a brother with a wet dishcloth.
Exactly. Or junior high gym class, right? But the truth is, it's soft. Does this scare you? No. But does this scare you? Right? Yes. If you have any experience, right? That'll take an inch of your skin off. So the hard is hidden inside the soft in Tai Chi and Qigong. So in China, they say Tai Chi is like a ball of cotton with a steel needle hidden inside of it. A ball of cotton with a steel needle hidden inside. So if you knew there was a steel needle, here's our ball of cotton. All right? There's a steel needle hidden inside here. Are you going to grab it? You going to grab this ball? I wouldn't. All right? But that's kind of the approach that Tai Chi takes. It's very soft. But if somebody grabs it, they're going to end up with a steel needle through their hand. Tai Chi is a defensive art. Let's go back to the movement itself. Do you remember the 4 circles? That's the thing you need to remember in order to practice this movement for the next class. Reverse, reverse, forward, reverse. And then, on top of that, you need to remember the martial Xin Yi. Xin Yi is 2 words in Chinese. Xin means your heart. Yi means your brain. All right? The 2 together make your motivation. So Xin Yi is, we might translate as intention or motivation. It doesn't just come from here, it also comes from here. It comes from both together, Xin Yi. So let's just say intention. What's your intention? Your mental intention determines where your energy goes. If my mental intention is to hit someone over there, I would not do this. I would maybe do something like that. So your mind, you could say, leads your chi. Your mind leads your chi. My mind wants to roll backward and go down. Now, if you want to know why you're going to roll backward and go down, stay for the next class. Right? Suppose Kevin comes up and grabs my wrist. One way to get out of that is to lift up into his hands, roll backward, and then drop down. That's what you're doing. Pong, Lu, on. The next move is actually almost the same as that. But instead of being small down here, it's big up here. And instead of coming up and then going down, it comes up, goes down to the solar plexus, and then pushes out. So it has a different shinyi, it has a different aim at a different target. This, you might just be poking somebody in their solar plexus. Somebody comes up and they start to throttle you. You come up underneath their arms, draw your hands back so that you actually draw them in toward you. Then you sink a little bit to reestablish your connection with the earth. And then you come forward with the tips of your fingers into their solar plexus. You could just shove them like this. You could beat into their chest with your fists. But in this case, we're just using the tips of the fingers. If you've ever seen somebody take a 2-finger punch to their solar plexus, you will know it is a very effective move. You can knock someone out that way. If you don't believe me, I'll come to your house and we'll try it. Boom. The next part of the move, the next martial application, is to come up over someone's shoulders and then pull them down. Now, if you were doing that in real life, you would step back. We're not doing that in real life. We're doing, hold on a second. Good, you're just in time.
Oh, good. Just in time. That's what I aim for every time.
How are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. So Adam is here. So let's take your jacket off. And I can demonstrate these movements for you. We're going to do them in more detail in the next class, but I'll do these really quickly. Okay, so what Adam and I are going to be doing is a little push hands practice. Push hands is not sparring, all right? It is training. So you're training with each other. So my job is to take care of Adam. Adam's job is to take care of me. That allows us to train without anybody getting hurt, we hope. You notice that Adam just took his rings and his watch off so he doesn't scratch me up. I don't have any rings or watches on. So we're going to be doing some practice drills here. So suppose, let's come up closer to the camera here.
This one's staying on, I guess.
That's okay if it's on that close. All right, so I'm going to move Adam around here. Adam's going to grab my wrist, right? Now he could grab so hard that he just is crushing my bones, but you don't want to do that. Don't hurt each other. Don't leave bruises all over each other. You just want to give somebody a firm but not too heavy grip. So I'm going to do the first move on him. I'm going to come up underneath his hands and notice watch what happens with his wrists. You see that little change from there to there? That makes it so it's his wrists, they call it cracking. His wrists are cracked. So it's his grip here is much stronger than his grip here. Do you feel that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
His grip here, because his wrists are straight, is better than when I've got his wrists cracked like this, bent. Now his grip is not nearly as good. Now I could get out of this just by turning to his thumbs, but this is a different way of getting out of it, right? So I'm going to crack his wrists. I'm going to pull him in a little bit, and then I'm just going to shoot down. And you notice how it discombobulated him.
That was very discombobulated.
He was very discombobulated. So a lot of times a move doesn't succeed in totally destroying the other guy, but it discombobulates him. And if he's discombobulated, that's all you need. The big point about discombobulation is that he loses his balance. Now, I don't know whether you noticed, but he did lose his balance there. The more he tries to hold on, the more control you have over him. So again, he grabs. Now he thinks he's got me, right? But the truth is, I've got him. If I'm better trained than he is, well, what's important is the connection, not who's grabbed who, right? So I'm going to discombobulate him. He's already lost his balance. I could just push him forward, right? I'm going to pull him in. Most people, if you pull them in, will do what, Kevin? Yeah.
Pull back.
They're going to try to pull back. They're going to do the opposite of whatever you do to them, right? It's just human nature. So I'm going to pull up, I'm going to pull in. He's already going to start going back, right? As soon as I feel his energy start to move back, then I'm going to try to get out. If I don't get out, if he follows me down in, right, then maybe I just give him a shoulder or beat him with my big iron head, right? That's the first movement. The second movement is my favorite in the whole form because you can knock someone out with this movement. It's exactly the same idea, but instead of going down to get out, you're going to go ahead into their solar plexus. So instead of grabbing my wrist, now he's going to grab my throat. Now, when he grabs your throat, you've only got a second to do something. There's a lot of things you can do, right? But what we're going to do in this is just to follow the pattern in the form. I'm going to come up underneath his elbows, all right? Forward, not under the elbow per se, but just a little bit forward. So I've got the knobs on his elbows here. And I'm going to use the knobs on my wrists and catch the elbows. And if his energy's not coming forward, I won't do this. It won't work. So if it's coming forward a little bit, then I can draw him in even more. He will start to go back, and that's when you clobber him in the solar plexus. So Jill, this is something you should practice. What's your husband's name?
Dan.
What is it?
Dan.
Dan. This is something you should practice on Dan 3 or 4 times every evening for the next week or so.
You do know he is an experienced Krav Maga guy.
Oh, well, then he's the perfect partner for you, right? But you get him in the solar plexus. Okay, we've run out of time. If you want to see the rest of the applications for this move and the next move, these are not the only applications. The idea of Tai Chi is not to have a toolbox of applications. The idea in Tai Chi is to be able to improv, to be able to just improvise what you're doing. These are just applications for the form. So the idea of going through here is to give you an idea of what you're doing. Okay, I'm lifting, I'm pulling back in, I'm pushing down, right? And then again, I'm lifting, I'm pulling back in, I'm rerouting myself, and I'm pushing out. Once you get all that, then forget about it and just relax and move that your energy in that pattern. You can forget about the fierceness of martial applications. What is important is the energy pattern. And then you go on through the next 12 minutes with all those other moves, practicing the various patterns. That will gradually allow you to master your own energy body. That's the point of this, not to become a martial artist. Okay, guys, I'm going to take a 10-minute break here, and then we'll start the advanced class. And it's great that Adam is here. We can really do these demonstrations. I'll also show you one or two videos of, for instance, what actually happens when you hit somebody hard in the solar plexus, for instance. Okay, we'll see you all in a few minutes, 10 minutes.